It's called diesel skimming. Truck drivers make unscheduled pit stops to siphon off litres and litres of fuel in exchange for hard cash. This is not a new trend, and it happens every single day around the country. The process is simple, but it costs the transport industry big bucks, as the truckers pocket the cash and the transporters foot the bill for the losses.
It's been going on for years, and nobody's doing something about it. They're killing the companies with this diesel theft.
Private investigator 𝗀𝗫𝗍𝗆 is a master at exposing diesel skimming operations, using hidden cameras to catch the crooks on the job. It's easy, it's quick, and the money is good for the dodgy truckers.
2-3 minutes and they fill it. All sorts of trucks, small ones, big ones, horse and trailers, everything comes there.
The process isn't rocket science. Watch carefully. Using a hose pipe and a 25-litre drum, the skimmers simply connect the pipe to the fuel tank and feed the other end of the pipe into the drum. And that's it. The driver sells off diesel that belongs to the truck owner.
Sometimes we get 8 to 10 trucks a day. They're taking out, some of them 2 drums, others 5 drums, others 9 drums during the day, at night, 24 hours they're doing it.
The Road Freight Association of South Africa represents over 700 transport companies, moving roughly 85% of all goods in the country by road. Diesel skimming has a massive impact on the industry, explains CEO Gavin Kelly.
The cost of transport is based on the operation of the vehicle. And one of the biggest cost factors is diesel usage.
At the end of the day, consumers will pick up the tab for these losses when the prices of goods go up at the tills, because transport costs make up close to 12% of the final price.
In terms of the total number of litres sold, then we're looking at probably about 1 billion litres in terms of land transport. And if you're skimming off 1% of that, that's a lot of fuel.
The illegal skimming usually happens in industrial areas, close to a main road, ensuring easy access for the trucks.
Everywhere where there's trucks going, there's an opportunity for them to do this.
Now, how do the drivers get involved?
These guys that's buying the diesel from them, they stand next to the road and they show the drivers that they must come and sell the diesel.
This clip is from a skimming site in Isando on Johannesburg's East Rand. The driver selling off his boss's fuel works for Merkman Transport in 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. In total, he siphoned off 9 drums in one shot. We showed the footage to Alex Ferreira, the operations manager.
It's ridiculous. I can't believe it. So many drums. And out of one vehicle, that's about 200 litres right there.
How do you feel when you see this?
Oh, I feel very betrayed. This can totally sink the company.
Now, there are devices on the market that are meant to prevent the siphoning of fuel, but where there's a will, there's a way, and the scamsters soon find their way around it.
They take the drain plug out underneath the tank, where they loosen the pipe on the return and let the truck idle and then pull it out there. They always find a way to do it.
But diesel skimming often goes undetected because there are so many variables when it comes to fuel consumption. Ferreira says after months of fuel usage discrepancies, they had their suspicions.
Your diesel ratio should be about 1/3 of your expenses, of your income. And now where we are at this stage, and this reality of it's almost half now. So you can imagine the theft that's going on.
Curious to find out just how easy it really is, we sent in an undercover crew posing as a dodgy trucker and his assistant. But it seems the skimmers were wary at first, explains our operative.
When we arrived at the site, I think the guys wanted to see whether we were really serious about selling them diesel. It took a while before they approached us.
After a brief chat, they struck a deal and the culprits came running with 25-litre drums to siphon off the diesel. It seems that skimmers welcome all new business.
We told them 4 drums, and they gave us the price per drum, which it was 200 rand.
800, not bad for a little morning's work if you're a truck driver, hey?
No, not bad at all.
Nice bonus.
Yes, sir.
That works out to be 8 rand a litre, at less than half the petrol station retail price of about 16 rand. It's a profitable business.
It's really about getting fuel that you're not paying for and selling on. So if I get a litre of fuel free, in inverted commas, and I sell it for R1, I'm making a R1 profit. And because there's a market for it. It's not like trying to flog a huge expensive car that you've got a very, very small market. Everybody needs fuel.
At the Isando site, the operation's so busy they even have drivers who come to collect the full drums and move it off-site. It's clear this operation is organized.
They are not just there by taking chances. They are there, they are organized, they know that anything can happen at any time. That's why they hide their stuff. If you go there without knowing, you will never know that they are saying those guys are buying diesel from truck drivers.
Kelly says more often than not, there are syndicates involved. Gavin, is this syndicates or random players?
It's a big business. It's not just, one always uses the term a Mickey Mouse business. There are definitely very big players and syndicates involved in that. We know of depots around Gauteng.
Looking at the footage, although the criminality is blatant, arrests are a scarcity. So the guys siphoning the fuel very rarely get brought to book.
Nobody gets involved there. That's the main problem.
Diesel doesn't have identifying markers, so it's difficult to link the culprits to the crime unless you catch them red-handed. So we sent in a second sting truck. For the bust, we're joined by the police's specific crimes unit. After a quick briefing, we moved into position, closer to the site. We're hoping to catch them in the act. It's amazing how open the site is. Middle of houses, shops. The site is just to my right here. Got one police unit here, another on the other side. So the idea is to sandwich them in. Waiting for your signal, Jakes, then we're ready to move in.
That's okay.
Sure, there's the evidence right there, hey? We scouted around the site to see where the diesel had been hidden. This guy here. Look at that. Yeah, drums here, hey? More tarpaulins over there. It's highly likely that the diesel is intended for the black market, according to Kelly.
There is a fair amount of it going cross-border, but there's a lot of domestic market for that. And if I can buy the fuel for R5-6 less than what you'd buy at the pump, there's a huge market for it.
With 4 of the foot soldiers in handcuffs, it was time to look for the kingpin. We had details of a storage site not far from where the diesel gets siphoned. So once the drums are filled, they're put in the back of a bakkie and brought to this house in the east. And we're about to follow the police in here now. Jeez, look at this. Hey, is this an operation or what? Eh? The house is barely furnished. Inside were 3 men that the cops pulled out for questioning. Sure, eh? How many people staying here? Eh? Look at the size of this operation. It's in the middle of suburbia, surrounded by the houses. After being cuffed and questioned, one of the suspects was quick to spill the beans to deflect attention from himself, denying any involvement.
This thing is for Becky. Is the Zimbabwean guy. He's operating this stuff.
Are you involved in the operation, the skimming?
I see them coming with diesel and put inside, but I'm not involved.
According to the suspect, the person in charge of the house is a man called Johan, and he's apparently close by visiting a friend. The police apprehended him immediately as we arrived. So, Johan, who's the leader of the operation?
Well, basically, I know a guy called, his name's Beck, but he's the one operating. I'm not involved in anything like that.
Apparently last Friday you were involved.
I was not involved in nothing, I promise you.
But that's not true, according to private investigator Jakes. Johan has been placed at the scene.
Last week, Friday, we helped them offload the drums nearby their house.
Are you sure? Do you admit you've been at the sites?
I go there, but I don't steal. The guy just tells me to load the drums.
With all fingers pointing to Becky, we were taken to the house where he lives, also in the area. The staff let us in while the police searched the property. So diesel pipes in the storeroom, the staff's here, but no sign of Becky. Apparently left blue jeans and a long blue T-shirt. But for now, we're going to leave it to the cops and the courts. Back at the storage house, the police identified one of Becky's alleged buyers, Sean. On his phone, there were these messages discussing an order for 5,000 litres with Becky.
How's it, Becky? Do you have the diesel for us? What's the story? Please let me know. The guys are asking.
No, I don't have, man. Just have only 500 litres.
Can you tell your side of the story here? I mean, we've seen everything on your phone, eh? We've seen your phone. We know who you buy from. Hey? You don't deal with diesel?
I don't deal with all this.
But that's your phone. How much do you sell it for?
I didn't even sell it. This was the first time I wanted to query it just to make an extra buck, but nothing materialized. And that's the truth. No, sir, I didn't buy it. It's a different case if I bought a diesel, but I didn't buy it.
With still no sign of Becky, the alleged kingpin, we decided to call him. But first we were going to ask about a new order. Have you got 5,000 litres? Diesel?
How many liters do you want?
5,000. Can you do it?
Oh, I don't have.
It's the Mnet program Carte Blanche, and we're doing a story on diesel skimming, and all fingers are being pointed at you, Becky. And we're at the house where you store it.
I don't deal with stolen diesel. People, they suspect stolen diesel.
Well, how about we meet face to face and you can explain yourself?
Don't just arrest me. I don't have any.
We won't arrest you, but the police might.
Yeah.
Becky agreed to meet us, but obviously never showed up. Jake says until the whole gang is behind bars, the police will have their work cut out for them.
You catch them here today, tomorrow they open a kilometre away and they open again.
It's an ongoing struggle. You will constantly try to battle this thing of corruption and crime, but
It's a losing battle.
It's a losing battle at this stage.